And we're back. This is chapter 2 of I've Never Felt Better. Just one of the guys who chased down vampiric beings and vampires. Something like that. I'm not going to scroll all the way up to the top because then I'll lose my place. I'm starting with second chapter, which is chapter 2. Now, are you ready for this? It is called, I think I already said this. I don't have a good memory. Not a short-term memory, I guess. I don't know. But like when I watch a TV show and something happens and it's really cool, but the next, like, if it's been a couple hours, I start thinking, wait a minute, I've seen that somewhere before. It's like it goes into the back of the back of the brain, but in the part where like long-term memory is. So it's like stored in long-term memory and really messes up with my thoughts. But I saw that before. But like I'm not thinking I saw that before when I watch it at the time that I watch it. Or maybe just my thinking is very slow. Anyway, continuing on to the story. Slow is definitely what you're gonna get here. So it's Not a Damsel in Distress is the name of the chapter. Not a Damsel in Distress. I could do it a couple more times if you want, because it should be like Not a Damsel in Distress. That's the chapter title, in case you forgot. Here we go. Time to read. This is paragraph 1 of chapter. That should stop. Not a damsel in distress. As the woman turned and fuck. One sentence down. Not yet. This was going to shape up to be quite a long one too. I am apologizing in advance. If you do not want to watch the rest of the video, you may shut it off. But please don't. I'm going to try my best not to make mess ups. I am trying my best here. Are you ready? Because I am not. My best female voice was probably best because she's supposed to be a girl. As the woman turned around to face me, I saw what I hadn't been able to see before the kidnapping. She was beautiful, and then I saw her body. It hadn't turned with her head. It hadn't turned with her head. I need to take speech classes. Her head was just turned toward me. Eyed around me and completely... What? Eyed around me and completed... I can't read. Her head just turned toward me. Eyed around me and completed its turn like something out of The Exorcist. The two kidnappers shouted and waved their arms at me as if to say, "Leave!" But I could not hear them. For one, I was confused to what I just witnessed. And for two, I was mesmerized by who I just saw. When I noticed the kidnappers flailing their arms, I tried to hide from them, but instead ducked too quick and smacked my forehead against the dash, sending a small vibration through the van and a ringing through my ears. I quickly regained composure and climbed onto the driver's side to confront these kidnappers. As I opened the door, I once again began to stare at the back of this amazing siren of a woman, and again she turned to look at me, but this time it appeared as though she was tightening the muscles in her neck. I quickly opened the door, thinking she had taken a cyanide pill or something to kill herself, but instead I was greeted with the kidnappers barking orders at the top of their lungs to me to get back inside. I remained confused, but did as they said. Another example of why I cannot read to people in person. Imagine if I was in a library and I had to read this to a kid. What kid is going to listen to this, I don't know. And why I would read directly to one kid is also disturbing. Just as I closed the door, the woman's head leaped off her body and came pouncing straight at me. The beautiful head was this beautiful woman, but no body was attached. Only a short stump, like the peg of an action figure, stuck out of her neck. Fuck, I used that? I used I used that later in another story. I don't remember I did that. Anyway, I stared in shock as she I stared in shock as the head neared me, then suddenly exploded, and a red slime, not blood, covered the van window. I looked past the slime to see the kidnapper with long, straight white hair and a gun similar to the ones in the van. I did not describe the kidnappers early enough. So the kidnapper has long white hair. He is not carrying a wig. Continuing. I looked past the slime to see the kidnapper with long, straight white hair had a gun similar to the ones in the van. Close enough. The other kidnapper that reminded me of a personal trainer reached for the door and opened it. I quickly jumped out of the driver's seat and went for a gun. As I reached for one, the long-haired kidnapper opened the sliding side door and aimed his gun at me. The kidnappers led me out of the van and had me sit across from the body of this beautiful, now dead woman. Her neck wasn't spouting blood. She didn't even have traces of blood on her. Only some blowback slime from the earlier exploding head. What just happened? I asked. Then they explained the obvious, that I just bared witness to something out of this world. I nodded and sarcastically responded. Then what world? I inquired. They explained the creature sitting across from me was a form of vampiric being, having disconnected its body from its head. Close enough. It wasn't about to feast on me had they not shot it dead. It was about to feast on me had they not shot it dead. I cannot read. They went on to explain these beings do not let objects stand in their way. Yeah, like the head was going to break through the window, it wasn't even flying that fast, I joked. They further explained that the particular vampiric being has an attribute similar to the cloaking of a chameleon. But instead of blending in with the surrounding colors, it blends its atom composition with that of its obstruction, allowing it to pass through. Yeah, very scientific. I'm glad you liked that. And they continued to explain that once the head feasted on me, a new body would have been grown. And it would have been able to escape and continue its vicious cycle of feasting. I uncomfortably smiled and thanked them for rescuing me. I then turned toward the body and began to ask what they do with the bodies. But soon got my answer when it became a body of red slime and oozed down the chair, leaving the ropes to fall to the sea, and then her ooze dripped down the chair legs, pooled in a puddle, and turned to a vapor. The kidnapper with muscles, my hero if you will, noticed I was still not at ease and introduced himself to me as Jax. And his black-haired partner, he had white hair last time, so that's a typo. And his white-haired partner as the great Vlad. I laughed, hearing his partner's name was Vlad. Then he hissed at me, and I saw the fangs. I nearly had a heart attack right there. However, Jackson Vlad assured me that Vlad would never hurt a soul. Vlad explained that he once was a tyrant, and by no means a good man. You know, I hate when vampire stories go and start talking about the vampires of old as if they created that character. Vlad explained that he once was a tyrant and by no means a good man. One of the evilest evils that graced the earth, but over the centuries he has come to learn that the goal of life was not to kill and rule, but to prevent others from killing and from trying to conquer. I was confused and explained my view on vampires. Basically, that vampires are evil, and aside from the fact that they do not exist, they do not save people. they turn you evil and eat babies. Vlad took offense and defended himself against this by and get more serious. Vlad took offense and defended himself again by stating he has changed over the centuries and that he has learned from, well, the strangest of things, television. That he can sustain himself with the blood of animals or a blood bank surplus. We're going to take a break here. I'll be back to edit more. Let me repeat that. Let me unrepeat that. I do not plan on editing this. It's too much work. I will be back now. I'm back. Back to where I was. Where I was where Vlad was saying that he has learned from television that he can sustain himself with the blood of animals or a blood bank surplus. Again, that was very popular in the 90s, in the early 2000s, when I wrote it. So, in order to be an accurate portrayal of a vampire, other than the glittering ones, I had to go with this type of trope. If that's the right word, it might not be. I haven't taken an English class in 2 decades. Wow, that's right. It's been 2 decades. Great. Continuing. Although I did take, extensive research on how to use commas, but from the look of the stuff, you really can't tell. It told me where to use commas, best, and I was like, that sounds good, I could do that, and I did, this works best here or there, but at the same time, it's yes, they say I need to use a comma here, but when I don't put a comma, it reads better, and it doesn't look like I put a fucking load of commas, even if I'm supposed to, and in the opposite direction, too. I do, it says no comma, but we need a comma here, right? If you don't have a comma, you don't read it correctly. They assume that every reader is a fucking scholar. They being the English elite, dictionary men, dictionary women, and the encyclopedias out there. So, I ignore any commas when you read this. If you choose to read this, hey, why not? You should read this. Go read it. Go to our Facebook and say, hey, I watched part of your video. Can I read this all instead of listening to your rambling, incoherent thoughts as you read it to me? I would rather read it myself. Or, say it like you mean it. Say it from yourself. Say it from your voice. My voice sucks. I don't know how to speak. We're going back to the story now. I think I was done. So go to our Facebook and ask, hey, can I read the PDF? I'll send it to you for free. Why for free? Because you just asked me, and now I have a friend on Facebook forever. And I'll be able to say, I love you, thank you. And then I'll ask if I can come to your birthday party. Not really. I don't want to go to a birthday party. That's weird. I don't want to go to a birthday party. What kind of cake are you having? Yeah, I need to edit that out. That was stupid. It was... Wait, where was I? Blood bank surplus. Jax nodded in agreement, and I was ready to back off of Vlad. But then I made the connection. If Vlad was one of the first vampires, and this woman was a vampire, doesn't that make this woman his daughter? Vlad laughed half-heartedly. That's a word. Vlad laughed half-heartedly and shouted at me, explaining that none of his real kin are alive. His vampire offspring are all abominations. Abominations. I can't read. I'm sorry. I'd hire someone, but it's expensive, and I'm having fun. So If you don't like this, you don't like it, and I'm sorry. You could delete it. No, don't delete it. That means you have to hack it. Do not hack our account. That would suck. But, but just close it if you don't want to listen to me. I'm trying to read here. I'm sorry I keep interrupting myself. Continuing, I was at the blood bank. Nope. I was farther. I'm not going to repeat that part. I hope you paid attention. If I was listening to this, I would be like, oh, I don't even follow what you're saying. So there's a guy who's actually a girl and not in some politically correct thing, just in the simple fact that the character should be a girl, and that girl, known as Timothy, is witnessed a kidnapping where this lady who was the kidnappee, her head spun around like an exorcist and then flew off of her head and then zoomed forward to a van and hit the van, or didn't hit the van but exploded and turned into a red ooze, and the red ooze turned into a vapor. And you're then that lady who used to work at a store at a complaint desk, then the witness of the kidnapping, then meets the kidnappers and learns that one of them is a vampire known as Vlad, the Impaler, whatever, and the other one is Jax, apparently just a physical trainer. I thought there was more detail to it before, but apparently not. He's a physical trainer. Who knows? Who knows what he looks like? He's just the other kidnapper. You know? Kidnappers do not deserve to get details. I probably detailed in the 5th chapter. Who knows? But that's the point of the story, of the 1st chapter. Now the 2nd chapter is this, where she's beginning to learn about the vampires. If Vlad was one of the first vampires and this woman was a vampire, doesn't that make this woman the vampires? What? Doesn't that make this woman his daughter? Vlad laughed half-heartedly and shouted at me, explaining that none of his real kin are alive. His vampire offspring are all abominations, and he wishes to have no part in their lives. There was a time when he felt kinship to them, but he grew weary of the death and savage killing, and swore to stop his former family. Jax interrupted and inquired about my reason for being in the van. I saw a woman being kidnapped, I replied. I had to help her. Jax and Vlad looked at one another and back at me. And you thought you could save her without the cops? Jax questioned. I explained the day I was having and that normally I would probably call the police, but today I just felt driven and had to save her on my own. This must have struck a chord with Vlad and Jax because they said they had to go and then asked me to get in the van. Great, I am a kidnapping now. One or the other, both work. I hopped in the van with them and sat just next to the sliding side door. I attempted to wrap the seatbelt around me, but no such luck. Jax turned back at me as he backed the van out of the alley and inquired how I knew to enter the building, as in walk through the wall. I saw the bumper sticking out of the wall, and then I felt around for the latch, I proudly replied. I told you to drive in farther, Vlad hissed at Jax. That's the easiest word to say. It wasn't too visible, I attempted to calm Vlad. I figured either enter through the bricks and save this girl like I had set out to do, or stay in the alley and hope that green square is safe. Vlad and Jax jerked their heads around and looked at me with wide eyes. What green square? Fucking voices. Vlad and Jax asked in unison. This is great. I hope you like it. If you don't, be thankful I don't make live videos. Or don't. I mean, just be thankful I don't do appearances. Why would I? I'm shy. I don't know, it's made up. I can't speak. I don't know where I was at. What green square? Vlad and Jax ask in unison. I explained to Jax and Vlad that a gigantic, brilliant square had been shining just above the alley, and I had noticed it after getting out of my car to look inside the buildings. They went silent and just stared at one another. I fidgeted and tried to look out the driver's window to see my car. Could I get out? I asked my heroes. I'm parked at the edge of the alley. I'm not sure why the narrator and the actual person has different voices. We drove past my car without a word, and then Jax turned back to me. We'll send someone for your car, Jax continued. Right now, we want to show you something. Fuck. I missed a quotation mark. So there's 3 quotes in that line. Jax continued is apparently part of what Jax says. I'm sorry for the quote mess up. Also sorry for saying fuck again. I don't mean it. It rolls off the tongue really easy, but I try not to say it. I used to when I stub my toe or something, I'd just say gibberish. And I probably still do, but I also yell fuck because I hurt. But nowadays, I don't. Nowadays I don't. And this channel, which is ShutUpSystems, inappropriate cartoons, with the tagline, increasingly inappropriate. Do you know why? Because we say the fuck word. Not really. But because we say a lot of stuff and it's stupid. Well, it's not stupid. It's good. For the right people. If you're not a fan of us, you're not a fan of us. So, if you don't like this video, hopefully you like the others. But if you don't like this video, I don't know. Going back to reading, I think I already said this whole thing. We're almost at 40 minutes. And this is chapter 2. Starting over. I did not mean starting over. I meant re-recording. Press record again. I ran out of space on my TV. On my phone. I ran out of space. Or at least I thought I did. Because when you save a 30-minute file, that's like gigabytes. And this way, this is like 1 gigabyte because it's 15 minutes. Anyway, back to where we were. To pick up where we were. We'll send someone for your car, Jax continued. Right now, we want to show you something. Oh, these pervs. That's not in there. That was just a joke. What was this? A joke. The more you know. A joke. A joke for you. A joke for you. What is that? I don't know. I'm sorry. That's not even my gay voice. I can try it. If you want. I can try that. Sorry, I was hearing my dog lapping up water. I didn't know what that noise was. I could... Sure, why not, you say? I say, okay. That wasn't the gay voice. That's my normal voice. Again, I support... Well, I haven't said this, but I support all genders and equalities and everything. Not with money. I'm broke. But with... I don't know. I don't know how, just with the word that I support them. That's just... I like everybody. I don't know how else to say it. I like everybody. And that has concluded our political discussion. Back to the story. I figured, what the hell? This is country, but whatever. I figured, what the hell? My car's already been stripped of the CD player. What else could someone steal? Well, I kind of need to get back to work. I went out for some fresh air. I looked at my watch and continued, over 5 hours ago. So you know what? My shift's over. I could see a slight smile over Jackson's face, reflected in the rearview mirror. What are you talking me? Oh, same person. Where are you? Oh, where? I could see a slight smile over Jackson's face, reflected in the rearview mirror. Where are you taking me? I asked, as I heard the sound of a garage door open, and then the sound of an auto shop, complete with air rushing and metal clanging from all directions. Jax quickly replied that we were there, and sure enough, they slammed on the brakes, sending me forward into the back of the seats. And before I could even sit up, the sliding side door slid open, and I was grabbed by someone in a white hazmat suit. Okay. Jax shouted. What was that? Fuck. 2 more pages to go. One more page to go. That's not so bad. It is, though, for me. This has been 30 minutes or more. But we're getting there. We're getting there so very not quickly. Where are we? Jack shouted over the noise of air and metal. No, that's where we were at. All right. Well, Jack shouted over the noise and air and metal that this was completely routine and for my own good. I was led away from the van and looked around to see I wasn't in an auto shop, but a white bay. Everywhere I looked was nearly completely white. I couldn't tell where ground met wall or wall met doorway. It was completely white. They led me to a doorway where, to keep with the fashion, it was like the rest, completely white. Suddenly, a flash of orange light flickered through the room. I like the color orange, so I use it a lot. What is that? I don't know. Suddenly, a flash of orange light flickered through the room. And then a bright red light filled the room, and I spotted a circling pipe with 15 nozzles attached to it coming toward me. The nozzles switched on, and the blast of water jetted out and splashed against the wall. I watched as the water bounced against the wall with such force, I thought the white paint would peel. I tried to run from the water, but the 2 hazmat guys would not let go. As I watched the water near me, I closed my eyes and braced for the pain. Nozzles above and below me apparently opened up, and I was immediately bombarded by the water. The water shot at my body and hit me with every forced bead of water until I was not only completely drenched, but every inch of me had been hit by welt-producing water beads. I told you I can't keep voice. I'm sorry. After my car wash experience, I was led out of the tunnel into a small room, again made entirely of white, and a heat wave rushed from side to side, immediately drying me from head to toe. Then another flash of orange light, and I was led out of the room, past the van, and into yet another white room, where Vlad and Jax sat along at a white table, which I knew was a table only because their midsections were obstructed by it. Vlad told me to sit, and so the hazmat people let me go, and I sat. I thanked them for the bath, and then Vlad pressed what I can only assume was a button on the table, which switched on a screen in this tabletop. The tabletop TV had me thinking about work, how people would most likely return to their table TV because they spilled soda or scratched it with a fork during dinner. Then a picture was shown on the TV that of the siren woman they blasted earlier. Vlad explained that wasn't the only vampiric being that they have hunted them down. Close enough. In fact, it wasn't even one of the top 50. They gave me a list of names, but I can't recall them. Just like me. However, they also gave descriptions. Said some are your normal vampires with human appearance, but can't walk during the day, and are commonly called the Night Walkers. That's right, the Night Walkers. While others are your hideous atrocities with fangs. Can't walk in the sun, and they have disfigured faces and an almost creature-like physique. And still others have no fangs, can walk in the sun, and drain one's blood by proximity, rather than incision. Yeah, that's correct. They continue to explain that the woman I met was of the vampiric breed, the Tehessera, Tehessera. How did I come up with that name? Well, I think I just went like Tessera. I'm sure that's probably something like that. It was very creatively. Continuing, almost done. There's like one paragraph. This is like the last paragraph. If I find where it was. The vampiric breed, the Tehessera. And even though their bodies produce slime rather than blood, and their heads detached, they are still indistinguishable from the other human appearance vampires. And had they known she was a Tehessera, they would have strapped her head on with a special harness before tying her to the chair. Vlad pressed another button, and the screen changed to a normal-looking old man with long silvery hair, and the name Hexacore next to him. I asked who he was, and Vlad said that he was one of his first offsprings. Some reason that's two words rather than one. The first generation of vampires sired by him. He has killed billions, and some believe him to be Death, or at least the creature Death was based upon. I could see a tear forming in his eyes as he spoke of Hexacore. A teardrop seconds from forming a big enough bubble to release from the tear duct and stream down his face. But Vlad quickly attacked the drop. My eye. But Vlad quickly attacked the drop with the side of his hand and pressed a button to move to the next picture. This picture was Kevin. And as you remember from the first chapter, Kevin is one of the co-workers of Timothy, or Timothy, as she may not be called yet. But she should be called. Maybe it's Tara. It starts with a T at least, I believe. I don't remember. I could have changed it completely. I don't remember. Why the version that I actually have has the wrong name, I don't know. I thought I put it correctly. I didn't? Oh well. Still, if you like this, that was chapter 2. The next chapter is chapter 3. And you will be pleasantly surprised. I'm not doing it tonight. Why? Because I think this one took an hour. And as I mentioned before, the other book that we have, somebody did an audiobook for on Audible. Well, that person that did that Audible took an hour and a half file, or it was an hour and a half, or something like it. Could have been 3 hours. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was an hour and a half, though, which makes me feel pathetic, as does every mess up I make, and I'm sorry for that. So still, as I stated before, in the last video, which I know was 30 minutes long, so you probably didn't watch this on the same day. You probably waited a year. But thanks for watching this second chapter. This second chapter was brought to you by ShutUpSystems, because it's us. We're the ones that made it. And it's also, if you liked it, please comment, thumbs up the video, flip off the video, whatever. Just tell me you liked it. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. And if you'd like to get ahead, and read ahead, you know, like people do, when there's a narrator that takes 30 minutes to get through 5 pages, yeah, you would like to read the book and find out what happens. So if you'd like to read the book and find out what happens, just tell me, either in the comments, but when you tell me in the comments, I will have to reply, go to our Facebook, I will send it to you, because I don't know how to send stuff through YouTube. So if it's, or maybe, who knows, maybe it's going to be maybe I'm just going to put the PDF in the thing, but probably not, because I don't know how to do that. So if you know how to do that, you can tell me, and I'll do that. I mean, there is a place called Scribed, but I don't know if that would be what I could put on the thing for you to download. I could put it on our website, but we use free websites, so I don't know if I can actually add files from there or not, or if I could, but I could try. But still, I would rather just send it to you Facebook-wise, because, you know, if you add me on Facebook, not me particularly me, because we don't need to talk, but if you add ShutUpSystems particularly, then we would be able to conversate, and I would be able to say, here you go. Please enjoy. Please tell me you liked it. If you did really like it, please go leave a review. That makes our book sound better than I am perceiving it when you hear it. Presenting it when you hear it via the video. That is the video that I am currently about to press the stop button on. So yeah, thumbs up the video, comment. This is a sign for comment. So thumbs up the video, comment, and just watch other videos. Watch our other videos, not other people's videos. Watch our other ones, like the comments, like the cartoons. Watch the cartoons and comment on those. You should comment on the cartoons. Like, you know, you could say, you know, I really didn't like Hero with the blue hair. He looked better with green hair in Matt's original drawings. And I would appreciate that. That's a very good comment to tell us. But at the same time, I'm not going to tell Anton to fix it. So, but still, thank you. Or if you wanted to watch one of the videos of the other cartoons and say, that is not how UFOs work, I would say, I know. That's how they work for us. And I would apologize for getting you all worked up. And I'm sorry. So just, I don't know how to speak. So, comment, let me know in the comments if you'd like to hear another chapter. There's more stories too. And they're actually short stories. But it's going to take a while to get through this. So, if you appreciated this one and liked it and really, really liked it and said, how the fuck was this a short? Then I don't know how you saw it in a short. Although some of our shorts that ended up being like 3 minutes ended up being a short in the short area back when it was only going to be 60 seconds. And that was cool. I was like, I tricked him. But I was wrong. Because then a little while later they changed it to make it 3 minutes. You know, great. But, you know, this isn't a short. Well, this might be a short. I might have copied it over and moved it into a short to, you know, well, that's going to look like a weird video. I trimmed the video to make a little thing in the shorts area for you to see. And you'll be able to see it if this is what you're watching. If it's the thing that I made to cut for you to see. So if you saw it, great. If you just watched the 50 fucking minutes of me trying to read the second chapter of the book called I've Never Felt Better, just one of the guys going after vampires and other vampiric beings, or something really close to that. The title is relevant, but, you know, the next chapter is chapter 3. So please, leave a comment. Tell me you like this. Tell me you're never going to talk to me again. Tell me something. I don't mind. Just let me know if you like this video, because I enjoyed making it. I really did enjoy making it, even though I messed up a lot and I didn't put a lot I put love into it, but I didn't put a lot of editing work into it, so I didn't put a lot of effort into it, but at the same time, I did put some effort into it, because it takes me a while to speak, as you saw. Like, there's I don't know, there's some times where it took like 5 to 10 times for me to get one paragraph right for you. So that's putting a lot of effort, but I didn't put the effort that people, when they edit and go, I want this, I move that, and I could edit it, and it would be sounding so great, but then it would be an inauthentic experience. And while I would not speak like this in front of somebody in person, because that's weird, and when I speak fastly to someone, I feel like I'm just being a dick, because usually I'm annoyed by our bird, you making a lot of noise, and like, well, I went into the bird room and I went to give him a candy. Went into the bird room, and so I went into the bird room, gave him a piece of candy. The candy. Went to the bird room and I gave the bird a can. I went to the bird room and I gave the bird a cracker, and the cracker. No, I went to the bird room and I went to the bird room and I gave the bird a cracker, and the cracker. I went to the bird room and I gave the bird a cracker, and the bird yelled at me and just kept yelling at me. So I actually don't speak like that either. I don't know how I'm going to say it. So anyway, I speak differently to different people. That's how people work. That's how I work. That's how I did what I just did. So just watch the video again if you feel like watching another hour, or watch more of our cartoons, because we have more. And this isn't a cartoon, so it's not really saying watch more, but we have more stuff, cartoons, to watch that you should watch. Am I done for tonight? Yeah. All right, so leave a comment and tell me thank you. And say, I love this. I love your talking, your speaking. You could be a teacher. You could be a spokesman person. You could be a person. It could be a person. Sure, fuck it. Enjoy it. Thank you. Bye.